Yeah, I mean, this SafeMoon story, to give you guys context, I think I made my first video on SafeMoon 11 months ago. So I've been probably researching it somewhere around the range of 11 to maybe a month to like over a year, somewhere around there. It's just absolutely been insane. This is definitely a giant whale of a story because of how many people are invested in it, quite frankly. There are millions of holders of SafeMoon, and it's kind of a unique community because their history is interesting because people have called them out in the past who themselves scammed people. And so the community is like super against anybody saying anything negative about SafeMoon. So one of the things I knew going in was that a lot of people would find every reason to try to hide from the conclusions. And the conclusion was, so SafeMoon is this meme coin, or sometimes referred to as a shit coin. And basically they had said that all these funds were locked up. This is $1 billion coin and blew up because a bunch of influencers promoted it. And now we come to find out that if you dig carefully, the money wasn't locked up. The various founders who have kind of come through, been fired, come through, a lot of them touched that money, and now the chips are falling. The house of cards is coming down.
It's kind of strange that there's this cult around it, right? Like when you went into detail about the SafeMoon warriors, the SafeMoon army, did that develop on its own from people who believed in it so much, or was that deliberately cultivated by the SafeMoon people?
I think probably a bit of both. I mean, I think one of the things about the SafeMoon army is that the people who run it don't deserve them, because they sort of believe everything after being given every reason not to believe the people who have been running it. And just what you find in these communities, these financial, social communities, is that it's sort of a shortcut to a cult to financially incentivize people to believe you, if that makes sense, right? A lot of these people, their money is riding on this. Their dollars are riding on this. And so the two options are like, it's not just, is this true or false? It's, if it's true, then I'm losing money. And if it's false, maybe my investment was correct. Maybe I am really that smart. Maybe I did get in on the ground floor of something great. And I think that's one of the challenges of talking about these things is oftentimes the people affected, the people who I personally see as victims, oftentimes are the most against the uncovering. So it's kind of an interesting situation.
I think that makes perfect sense, though, that they'd want to defend the thing that they want to believe in, right? I mean, that it all comes down to belief to begin with these crypto coins, doesn't it? What else is there that you have other than the belief that if you put your money in this thing, eventually you're going to make more to pull out, right? Isn't that kind of the beginning and the end of it, or not?
I would say no.
Okay.
I would say you're talking about meme coins. These are strictly coins that are like, greater full coins that aren't doing anything but price goes up, et cetera. A lot of coins have sort of graduated into trying to actually do something or have some utility. For a brief example of like what that utility might look like is, okay, I have an editor and he's overseas, right? It costs a lot of money and it's a slow process to pay overseas workers. There are crypto technologies that allow you to pay them much easier, much cheaper, much faster. And so that's like an example of a real use case of a crypto. However, your intuition is correct, which is that most cryptocurrencies are not offering really anything unique. Most cryptocurrencies are going to go to zero because of that.
Mm-hmm. So what is the difference? If meme coins is what I usually think of when I think of crypto, what do you call a real coin? Like a Bitcoin, I assume, is a real crypto.
Yeah, it's one of the first. It's considered a store of value. You also have coins called like Ethereum, which is a smart contract. It's a coin capable of having smart contracts on it, running decentralized code. So these are things which you can kind of do things with. It's sort of a tool for other coins to launch, and that's actually how a lot of these other coins launch. Is they're actually underneath a smart contract platform. So SafeMoon is based on the BSC network, Binance Smart Chain, and it's basically running on that network. I don't want to get too confusing, but basically there are real cryptocurrencies trying to do cool stuff. It's something I try to harp on is like not everything in crypto is a scam, but the reason I oftentimes don't spend a lot of time covering that stuff is because There's so many people doing that. There's so many people trying to convince you that every crypto is a great idea. And they're trying to convince you that this is definitely 100%, foolproof investment. And that's not true. So I've kind of, I usually like to talk about things that are not so discussed. And so in the case of crypto, it's okay. I do think there are good things, but everyone's talking about that. Let's discuss some of the bad things that are going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The whole thing is a different language to me entirely. So if anybody's listening to this podcast and they are all up on all of the crypto stuff, let me let you in on a secret about me. I don't know anything about any of it. So when I'm watching your videos now, I'm like looking things up and writing down, terminology like what is a rug pull? Okay, I've never heard of that before. What does that mean? Like, this is such a brand new thing to me that it's taking me a while just to get up to speed with the lingo of what's going on with that. So can you explain what a rug pull is?
Yeah, a rug pull is when, usually it's the developers, but somebody, maybe a whale, somebody big in the project early on who has some kind of insider knowledge, they basically pull all the funds out unexpectedly while you were supposed to see this project go on to develop some stuff. Let's say I get you in on Coffee Coin, and Coffee Coin is supposed to develop a bunch of coffee, factories in Nicaragua or Brazil or something like that, right? And then all of a sudden you invest in that coin. That's what it's supposed to do. And then all of a sudden I take the money and run and I just leave. That's a rug pull, right? At its most basic. And there's a lot of kind of reinventions of terms because there are things like this that happen in penny stocks in traditional finance, but everything's been reinvented. Like diamond hands means you're holding on. Paper hands means you're selling, right? There's a bunch of reinventions of terms that frankly are just kind of ripped straight from finance. But yeah, if you're going to talk about it, you have to use the lingo that everyone else uses.
Mm-hmm. If it took you 11 months to fully process Safemoon, what hope does the average person who thinks, well, crypto sounds interesting and a good way to diversify, I'd like to do something smart with it. What hope do they have not to get boned?
Well, to be clear, I said a month in that this is a scam. And I made a video about it. It didn't take a lot. It didn't take a lot of research at first to realize this doesn't make any sense. We're all going to invest and we're all going to make it. Doesn't ever make sense. What it took a year to kind of figure out and uncover was all the various things that they had done. You have to understand, this is a coin that has promised everything from Gambian wind farms, saving the Gambia, which is a country in Africa, to creating their own blockchain, to creating their own crypto wallet. And so you kind of have to follow this stuff as it happens and see what happened. You have to figure out who are all these wallets. There's, millions of people who hold it. So who are the big players? Who are those people? You have to unmask people. You have to talk to people. I've probably talked to more people in Safemoon than anyone else ever in history. I mean, I've talked to everyone from their Discord mods to all the way to recently their CTO or former CTO. So this stuff just takes time and it unravels over time. To be clear, I wasn't working on it the entire time. What happens is a month passes, you research some more, you wait a bit because stuff has to kind of happen, and then something else happens and you follow that, etc. But total, I've been following it and researching it for about a year. Yeah.
But the video's out now. It has a ton of views. It's been about a day. What has been kind of the reaction to it? Any big blowback? Anybody coming after you? Is anybody knocking on your door that you don't want them to? What's it been like?
No. I mean, the Safemoon army threatened to sue me a day before the piece came out, and they were like, the timeline's wrong. Right. The information is wrong. And I was kind of well, you haven't even seen the piece yet. But nothing too crazy has happened, really. I mean, look, here's the thing. People have said oh, the price fell after this. Coffeezilla is trying to take down Safemoon. Look, whether Safemoon lives, dies, whatever, I don't care. I want the information to be out there. That's what I see myself as. It's I want to get the information out there and then ultimately let the chips fall where they may, be it with law enforcement, with lawsuits, with the people deciding to buy or sell. As far as I'm concerned, it's kind of, you have to educate people and then people can make their own decisions based on what they want to do. I don't watch any charts to see. I mean, there was a viral post on Reddit that was like, it's down X% after coffee posted. But that stuff means nothing to me because it could be up tomorrow. It could be, to me, whether it's up or down, left or right, doesn't make it a fraud or not a fraud. What makes it a fraud or not a fraud is the objective facts about the thing. So a lot of people would point to like price and stuff like that. I don't care about that stuff. I think what ultimately matters is like people making educated decisions. And I just feel bad for these people. A lot of them are down like 90%. So even if they do sell, they're taking gigantic losses. And meanwhile, their founders are walking away basically millionaires.